Hey guys, Mr. Barrett here. I'm going to give you a quick rundown on how to use these super cool Vernier motion sensing cart systems. So first thing, here is the green motion cart. You have to make sure that there are two AAA batteries inside this compartment. Otherwise this next part won't work. So I'm going to take my cart, and now that I've got the batteries in there, there's a button on the back here that says motion encoder cart, and it's got the little power symbol. So go ahead, put this thing down on the track and press that symbol, and it should light up blue. And you've noticed that I've got the blue part facing toward the back of the track. So now I'm good to go. The back space is open. Okay, up next, what you're going to do is you're going to grab this. This apparatus is going to talk to the cart throughout the duration of the experiment, so you need this or it won't work. You can see in here that it slides into these spaces, and it should be a little bit tough to get on there, but not super tough. If it's giving you a really hard time, then just stop and get help. Okay, the end of this device is going to get plugged into your Lab Quest. So this right here is a Lab Quest 2. In order to turn it on, if you take a look at the top of it, there's a power button, so you just press and hold that, and it'll take a little while. If it doesn't turn on, it might be out of battery, in which case just make sure it's plugged in. Once your Lab Quest is up and running, it's going to give you a screen like this, and that just tells you that there's nothing plugged in. So I take the end to that receiver part and I plug it into the top here until it clicks. Whoops. And you'll notice that it automatically tells me that it's at position 0. This just tells me that it's up and running. Okay, so now I've got my system plugged in here, and as we move the cart, it's going to give us different readings on the Lab Quest. So what's happening is there are these little bars on the track, and as the cart rolls over those little bars, it sends the information back to that receiver, which then goes to the Lab Quest to get interpreted. Okay, now I'm going to run you through a real quick experiment next, where we're just going to look at distance and we're going to look at velocity. So I'm going to start with the track back here, touching the sensor. Okay, I'm going to come over to my Lab Quest, and on the Lab Quest, I'm going to press this gray button. And right here, it'll tell you that it's going to collect time-based data, so you leave that alone. It says 20 samples per second. That's pretty good. Another way of looking at that is intervals. So I'm going to leave those alone, and it says it's going to collect data for 5 seconds. If I want to change any of these, I just tap them. And then you can change that. Same thing for the units. I'm going to press OK. Very briefly, if your Lab Quest is not working or it's not responding to your fingers, all you got to do is press and hold this home screen button, and it'll bring up a screen so you can calibrate it. So that could be what's going wrong with it. Okay, on the Lab Quest, it is now ready to go. We've told it through these gray bars, or this gray box here, what we want it to do. And now it thinks that the cart is starting 12 centimeters behind the sensor. We don't want that. So I pressed, whoops. All right, so I'm gonna go to File. There we go. My bad. Go to Sensor Setup, and then Sensors 0, and then 0 out that cart. That tells it that that's the starting position. So again, sorry for the bumble there, but sensors 0 and then the cart. All right, now we're ready to go. The Lab Quest knows that the cart is in its starting position and it's set up to collect data. So now I can press this play button down here or the play button up here, and either one will start collecting data. So I'm going to press this and move the cart. And as you can see, it is collecting data right there on the screen. So we have position, how far away the cart is. You can see the position grow over time as it goes away. In the velocity, you can see it started out at 0 velocity, and then once I pushed it, It went up to a fairly constant velocity for that whole time. Last thing that I want to tell you on these is to not do what I just did and let the cart run into the end. If you smash this cart into the end of this hard enough, we're going to end up with a broken cart, and then you and I are going to have some uncomfortable conversations about how we use supplies. So that was your quick introduction to how to use this system. It's pretty sweet. We can get some really good data out of this. And if you have any other questions, see me or just look up instructions for the Vernier motion cart. Adios.